Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I just want to take a few minutes here to go over my decoration setups for the last Ultimate God of Destruction build that I was talking about. I had a couple of requests to show the jewels, and I just wanted to go over a couple other things too. I built another setup that's for people that don't have Fatalis yet, that could incorporate similar skills and a similar playstyle. And I kind of also wanted to explain why I called the title meta breaking, because I don't think it's not for the reason you think. I'm not calling it's a meta breaking set because it did the same thing like the Raging Brachydios armor did, where when it came out it was the go-to DPS setup. I kind of called it a meta breaking setup because it's going to kind of break you free of the meta and be able to play a certain playstyle mixed with your individualistic creations of a setup versus just following what somebody else's do because I'm trying to get as much damage per second because that's what people tell me to do. I think people don't realize how meta originated and what it's for. It's not for hey, I just started playing this game, and what's my strategy? What do I want to do? Oh, the best thing to do is run meta, and that's how you play this game. That's not it at all. Meta originated from you get to a certain point after you play this game and get good at it and understand your move set and other monsters' behavior and things like that, and you understand these things, and you're comfortable enough with dropping just about all your defensive settings because you can outplay the monster, you can outmaneuver the monster, you can iframe through their attacks and stuff, and you don't need these things anymore. And now you're just kind of concerned about just taking out these monsters as quickly as possible. It's not something that, hey, I just started playing this game, let me go ahead and try to make the quickest meta set I can. It's just I don't understand why people are even having this conversation of what is meta good, should you run meta, blah 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 blah. Meta is for when you want to use it, and if you don't want to use it, you shouldn't use it. It shouldn't be that complex of an issue, but I guess it is. I'm able to make hour-long videos and things like that, but I don't know. People, you'll never hear me badmouth something like earplugs, and you're going to hear this a little later in the video because I'm actually adding this to the beginning of something I already recorded. I just forgot a few points I wanted to talk about. But you'll never hear me badmouth something like earplugs because they're highly useful in increasing damage per second in certain fights, like Nergigante. The ability to go through a monster's roar, or something like flinch free, so certain attacks won't affect you and won't trip you, and you can just run through them and still attack the monster, can be highly useful in many fights. So that's just where my stance is, I guess, on meta. And that's what I mean about it being meta breaking. Not that all of a sudden you're going to get a huge more DPS out of this, but possibly. I'd love to see you speedrunners use this build, tweak it your way, but use the ability to be able to stun more often to go along with your knockdowns. Like some of those Kushala battles where you're knocking them down over and over and over again. What if you got some stuns in between that? Like, how much could you reduce any time? Would it increase time? I don't know. I don't know that stuff. I don't play this game that way. I'm not interested in finding out the scripts and knowing the monsters' move sets, or being able to force certain animations and certain moves. Like, I get you speedrunners, I get why you do that stuff. I just don't want to do that. It eliminates the challenge of the game. I like not knowing what's coming next. I don't want to learn the game so well that I know what the monster is going to do, or I can force the monster to do what I want it to do. I also don't like the aspect of you're running a program that allows you to start right back out at the very beginning of the screen, that whatever that mission start screen, that's the official requirements to the start of the video. So you got those programs that if you do one wrong maneuver, you can go initially back to there. So I mean, I get it, but it kind of lessens the run for me a little bit, you know. But anyways, that's just me, so I don't be mad that I'm saying those things. But anyways, those are the points I wanted to make, and I got some other Monster Hunter videos coming up. I have some Tekken 8 videos coming up soon too. Probably in the next 3 to 5 days, episode 3 of Tekken is Life is coming out, and I really am interested in making that a live stream, maybe do it weekly, and just would wonder your guys' thoughts on that. And then I'm gonna have a solo longsword guide for how to beat Fatalis, but also I'm gonna have a video of basically how to guarantee any part that you might need. You guys might are still farming in lower levels in Monster Hunter, but you're looking for a specific part, but the monster's hard to break that part. I'm gonna show you how to be guaranteed to get that part in the first couple of minutes of any fight. So that stuff is coming up. But anyways, I want to go ahead and show all the decorations of the builds. These are the 4 builds I was showcasing in the previous video. In a little later segment, I'm going to go through this a little bit more detailed than I did before, but I just wanted to go over this one right here. You trying to be God. I made a note because I thought it was funny that this build is called the Ultimate God of Destruction set, and its acronyms are you God because it makes you godly, you know. But anyways, so you trying to be God is basically a way to do this without having Fatalis gear. So I just went with your standard Teostra technique, Brachydios will, excuse me. And so you want to add the Frostfang helm with a punishing draw, and the Frostfang helm is the most efficient piece to put into this setup. I experimented with putting the Frostfang like chest or something else, but you get the most jewel slots and the best abilities for running something similar to the godlike build. So you're gonna definitely need a let's just go ahead and set it up. Alright, the You Trying to Be God build is going to feature a Safi Shatterblade, and it's going to have Teostra Technique on there. That is a must because you're going to have that Frostfang Helm, and you're going to need 3 Teostra techniques on your weapon or armor, so definitely going to need to have a Safi weapon with that on. I like having sharpness 6 on there, so you instantly get purple sharpness, and because you're running Master's Touch, you will never run out of purple sharpness basically. And then the rest of the slots I use for attack 5, and the augments for this weapon will be attack increase 1 and health regen, so you have all of that. Okay, so you're going to have the Frostfang Helm, you're going to have the Brachiodoshus stuff. Brachiodoshus, yeah. Chest and Greaves for him, the Kaiser Teostra stuff to get the Master's Touch, so you never lose sharpness as long as you're doing critical hits. And if you will see in this build, let's go to the decoration. Alright, so this is going to be your build. Just so you know, you're going to have 50% affinity in your base because of your setup, and then when you use your weakness exploit to tenderize apart the head, basically, you're going to get your 100% affinity that way. And you are going to actually have 120% affinity once the monster is agitated or enraged, and at that point pretty much anywhere you swing your weapon will count as a critical hit, so you pretty much get criticals everywhere. Okay, so a couple of things. You're going to need 2 attack 4 and 2 attack expert 4 jewels for this build, especially because this is not a Fatalis build, so you're gonna have to run some vitality, and the vitality is going to take up some space, and you're still going to need attack level 4, so you're going to need 2 attack 4 jewels to get that. So there will be some grinding of tempered level monsters to get this stuff. Okay, you're going to have your criticals. There's a nice little level 2 slot. Basically, all of the level 2 slots in all of your build or equipment is going to be used up by a critical. You got your experts and your attacks. What else we got? Oh, this leftover one, you're going to need to use medicine, so you can have flawless medicine in the leftover slots. You're not going to have maxed out peak performance. Well, you could if you want to take out this Shaver, but like I said before, Shaver, punishing draw, and your mantles is what makes this build go. So you're not going to have your tool specialist, but you have your glider mantle that's still going to have your knockout maintenance jewels. So the glider mantle only takes 2 minutes to recharge, so you can actually wear your temporal mantle to its completion if you don't wear it out and still be ready to go with your glider. But at least this way, because the temporal mantle takes a long time, 5 minutes to recharge with no tool specialist. If you have two, you're getting a 20% reduction. That brings it down from 5 minutes to 4 minutes. The glider mantle still is used for 3 minutes. It goes on, its duration is 3 minutes, so you basically, after your glider mantle is done, you have to wait 1 minute before your temporal mantle will become active, instead of able to be done instantly like in the previous build. But this will allow you to get all those knockouts. Basically, you're going to have your stun effects, you're still going to eat your Phalanx Slugger, so you have your bare minimum 30 stun per hit, and when you're wearing your mantle, you're going to be back to your 39. You're just not going to be able to keep this up 75% of the time, maybe more like 50-ish% of the time. But I think this would be a good alternative for anyone that does not have Fatalis and wants to play a playstyle where you're mounting, where you're flint shotting, and you're using the knockouts and the knockdowns to constantly keep the pressure on these monsters. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and I just wanted to take a little bit of time to go over the jewel setups and the decoration setups I have of the Ultimate God of Destruction build video I made the other day. There are certain skills that are not necessary in case you want to tweak them a little bit yourselves to fit your playstyle a bit more. And I do want to go through the 4 builds I was going through, and then I told you not to worry about build 4, but I remembered why it was a variation and it could be viable. So I'm going to go through all of these jewels, and then I'm going to go over what are the bases that you need to have for this build and where you can supplant your own ideas, you know. Okay, so for this is the one of the two that I basically use. I didn't point out that I don't have quick sheath on this, and the reason I don't is because quick sheath is really handy for slower sheathed weapons, but the katana sheathes so fast that the animation that gets shaved off by having maximum quick sheath is like I believe like 5 or 6 frames, each frame being 1/60th of a second. So it's very negligible, especially if you have you know, a little bit of knowledge of the monster that you're fighting. Not let you know everything that they're going to do, but if you know a couple of the moves that you can foresight slash through, because you don't have to constantly do that for every hit. I mean, you can if you want to be that dope, you know, but there's other things I like to do in a fight, so it's not really necessary for me. So that this build has everything but quick sheath and the level 3 evade window. This is my primary build. This one just adds the quick sheath, and as I was stating in the previous video, the quick sheath forces me to lose my recovery up, although I still have the regen on my weapon, so it's still viable. And you lose your coalescence as well, but I'll go through all of these decorations in a second. This one drops your handicraft to 1 because you're more confident about you know, being able to take out monsters. But you still have your max coalescence. I had this built the wrong way in the video. I had tweaked it in a way that I did not like, and I went back to why I called it the Ultimate Warrior. This you do is when you want to be on a team, basically, so you can have somebody else soften, because I don't have Shaver on this, but you can always drop a coalescence to put in a Shaver, or you could drop a coalescence to put in a handicraft if you would prefer that way as well. So this is the one I told you not to worry about, but basically what I did is drop 2 attack, so I could have recovery up, peak performance, evade window, quick sheath, tool specialist, coalescence, and handicraft, and have all of that, but I do lose Shaver on this as well. But again, you can drop either 1 handicraft or 1 coalescence to get that Shaver back. But this is just an option for having all those skills, but I do prefer having my damage at attack boost 7, so that's why I use one of these 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out these jewels. Actually, what set am I wearing right now? I don't know. Let's just start off with the first one. So this is my preferred one. This is the one you'll normally see me streaming with, and I will start streaming here pretty soon, so you guys can check this stuff out in action. Okay, so this is all badass meta stuff like attack 4, expert 4, all that stuff. Just to show you a quick recap, I've just been playing for a while. I have ton, like expert jewels. I have 5 in my inventory, 2 in my build, so 7 attack jewels I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, there's a couple more floating around, some other equipment that are not on here right now. So I think I have 7 or 8 of those. So, you know, you're gonna have to grind to get this stuff. You know, you can get some of it luckily, but some of it you're gonna have to specifically want, and you're gonna have to grind. You know. But anyways, I got 3 of the attack 4s in here. Here's your 7th for your boost is in this single slot. I use this critical for in the level 2 slot of the Frostfang Helm. Expert 4. Critical evasion, critical maintenance, flawless medicine, flawless medicine. These are the 2 level 3 slots on the waist, so I use 1 for the shaver, 1 for another coalescence. Max out my coalescence and medicine and maintenance to level 3 with these. Level 4 handicraft. You can, if you have other decorations, let's say for example you had I don't know, something where you wanted to do handicraft medicine and handicraft maintenance, and then you can get some other the skill another way. I forgot to mention my Challenger 4. That's a good example. Let's say you didn't have a Challenger 4 and you wanted to do you know, 2 Challenger maintenance or 2 Challenger medicines, and put like a flawless here or something like that. Your jewel setups can differ a little bit, but you're mostly going to need to have either something very similar to this or just high level stuff. Mantles, dragon for additional attack, and KO maintenance fulfills those requirements for the numbers I was speaking of in the previous video. Alright, now let's go to this build. What is this build again? Oh, this is the one with quick sheet. So you have 2 attack 4s instead of 3 in this build. Hit that attack is still the same. You still got your Challenger and your critical. A lot of this is similar. I use more flawless evasions in this one just to round it out to get to the and I have every combination of flawless evasion, flawless maintenance, flawless divine blessing, you know, all of them. They're just available to me. But you get my other attacks from the sheath attacks to get my quick sheet. So that's what I mean. You're going to need a lot of different combinations if you want to use many of these builds, but if you can, it's not going to be exactly the same as mine always. You know, this little sheath handicraft one took me forever to get, just because I didn't really realize I needed it, and then when I was trying to find it, make the build that piece is going to fit, it took me a while to grind specifically for that one deco. Same thing for your temple mantle. This is going to be very similar for most of my builds, the dragons, the KO, and the maintenance. Okay, let's go to the next one. Ultimate Warrior. Hope you guys like these names. I do, and if you guys don't, well, I don't really care, but I do. So very similar again. You have your 2 attack 4s, Challenger 4, critical attack. All this stuff is similar. Usually the criticals are either going to be evasion or sometimes medicine. Flawless evasions, Phoenix medicine, Phoenix in the level 3s, and there goes your sheath attacks and sheath handicraft. If you're going to have quick sheath in these builds with the Frostfang Helm, you're going to need 2 sheath attacks and 1 sheath handicraft, because I don't think you can get your Phoenix, your coalescence, and your whatever that's called, peak performance, exactly the way you need to. So I think this build, it's very specific to, this is the build that you needed to have sheath attack to make sure you have quick sheath in. There is no shaver, but again, you can always drop a Phoenix to get a shaver, or probably will, just because I like having shaver. But you can't drop anything else. You probably just need to drop a Phoenix if you want that. Same thing here. And now this build does not have tool specialist, but I still have KO maintenance jewels here because it will recharge my temporal a little bit faster, but the temporal takes 5 minutes without any reductions. This just reduces it 20% instead of the previous build's reduction, but still 20% on the temporal specifically, since it takes so long, is worth it, so I keep it in this build. And let's see, non-stop killing, All right, here we go. The attacks, the challenger, the crit. Oh, this one I put a sheath here instead of an attack. Oh yeah, that's because I don't max out the attack on this. So that's why, one of the reasons I don't max out the attack on this. So in order to get recovery up, well, critical boost I'll always have. To get recovery up, evade window 3, quick sheath, Tool Specialist 3, and Coalescence 3, and Handicraft 2 in my base, I have to have this sheath jewel right there. So some of these builds are going to have very specific requirements, some not so much. This sheath handicraft is going to be needed in this build as well, so if you don't have it, you can't quite make it this way. Possibly, I don't know, maybe there was a deco along the way that I never got that, but I'm pretty sure I got everything. The sheath attacks, handicraft maintenance, flawless maintenance, flawless medicine, Phoenix in the level 3s, Phoenix medicine, expert 4, flawless, and here in my temporal I use attack, so now I can have max attack instead of the dragon, because for the longsword the raw damage always does more damage than any elemental, so it does less damage if I have dragon in there rather than attack. KO maintenance is still there for the same reasons, and that's basically it. That's all the 4 builds. Let me show you one more thing, and that's going to be, this is just a base set. I just noticed that it's the ultimate god of destruction build, and it's U-God. So this is how you guys can become U-Gods. U-God base. You ladies and gentlemen, sorry, not just you guys. My wife reminded me of that the other day, and I felt like crap, and so I had to acknowledge it, and now I will try to acknowledge it in every video. Okay. So bare minimum, you want to have your critical eye maxed out, your agitator maxed out. Attack boost can be 4, but it has to at least be 4 for the 5% affinity increase. Recovery up. I'm leaving this on there even though you don't need to, because you have some regen in your weapon, but I'm guessing if you want to change this setup, you want to add some defensive setups, more defensive options. So the recovery up is going to be important so you can get as much health back from your weapon as possible. So I'm going to leave that in here. Crit boost 3, weakness exploit, get your 140% damage. Peak performance, you know, if you're running any kind of recovery up or regen on your weapon, you're going to always be hitting full health, so might as well get the maximum damage boost you can get that provides. So that's why peak performance 3 is always there. Evade window 3 is exactly what I do run less, but I never really run more because I feel like it's a waste. But if you need another help, you can always add an evade window level 4 jewel that has 2 evade windows actually. 1 handicraft at least. But this build has 2, because if you're good enough to have just 1, well, then you know exactly how you want to set this base, setup up exactly, you know, just as much as what I'll be talking about, if not more. Then you got your shaver, of course. Again, if you have a team, you can always drop this and maybe do your other handicraft here or add other skills. But it basically gives you 3 full level 4 slots that you can play with. So if you want to add, I don't know, let's say wind resist against a Kushala, you know, you can add multiple one of those if you wanted to get your wind resist as much as you want. Or a lot of people want to run earplugs, and this is why you'll never hear me run earplugs. Like, it serves a purpose. Like, you can have, like, speedrunners, when they're doing speedrunner on Nergigante, they're running earplugs at a certain level, and even what's the one that prevents the trips? I can't remember. Flinch free. So one of those, because certain attacks can just be negated, and they can attack through the flinch tail attack, and they can attack through the roars. So even they're reducing their attack damage a little bit, just the time that they're actually attacking and not being forced not to attack because of what the monster does, it gives them more DPS, more damage per second, and that's why they do that stuff. I also want to make a point that there's a reason I call this a meta breaking set, and it's not maybe for the reason that you're thinking of. It's not meta breaking because like the Raging Brokidios set was breaking the meta about how much damage it actually did. It's meta breaking because it breaks you free of the meta. Like, if you don't want to quite run meta, but you want to run the skills that I was showcasing in the previous video, this is what you'll need. But if there's anything out of this that you don't want, like the peak performance, you don't want that, you don't want the tool specialist, well, you're going to lose out on my playstyle if you get out the tool specialist. But if there's anything you don't want, put whatever else you want in there. Use the aspects that you like, don't use the aspects that you might not want. Maybe use these three to add three divine blessings. Like I want to do more wind resist and or sharpness and protection, or there's the flinch free if you were going up against a Nergigante and stuff like that. So have fun with it, do whatever you want with it. This build doesn't have to be meta. There's certain aspects of meta that you do want to make it effective. You know, if you're not getting this 140% damage from the crit boost and the attack level 4 and things like that, then you're not getting those knockdowns from the damage from the weapon or from the stun effect, you know? So you're going to have some of that stuff, but it can give you some freedom to run your earplugs and your divine blessing and your defensive boost ones and things like that. You know, if you are lucky enough to get I just don't know where any of these things are because I don't mess with any of these. Where's my defensive boost one? Or yeah, here, use your hard resist jewels or to make a fight easier. Or if you're fighting Namiel, you want hard thunder resist and hard water resist in there as well. And you know what, let's go ahead and give myself whatever, maybe some more dragon damage because it's a 2-star weak to dragon. So make this any way you like. Don't worry about it. Thanks for your time, thanks for your membership. Please like, subscribe, and share this information if you think it's going to be good for other players, because I don't want just your audience, because I think, you know, I want fame and fortune and that crap or anything like that. I want this to be just stuff that you're like, yes, this is useful, I want to play this, I want to use this, and I want other people to know about it too. Thanks, and have a great day.